Hey, Stars and Stripes RC here with you guys today. Um, this is the Oracle Turbo Raven by Seagull model. It's a 63-inch R, 15 to 20 cc aerobatic 3D plane. Um, so a lot of you guys on my YouTube channel, fly foam planes. I fly foam planes. I've flown planes for 38 years. I've also done roughly 20 or 30 of these ARFs in my time in the RC hobby. Um, so I don't like to get in a rut per se and just fly one thing. Nowadays at the RC field, everybody's flying jets and, everybody's flying foam. And like I said, I fly foam. So that's their choice, that's their preference. But the jets have become very, very popular. But I like to fly different styles or types of planes. I don't like to limit myself, or I don't like to fly one particular type of plane and that's it. I think that broadens your skill in the hobby by flying different types of planes, whether it be tail dragger or warbirds that are tail dragger. I don't like to limit myself to flying just planes with trike gear. Tail draggers are a whole different ball game, and you'll find out. Obviously, a lot of you know, versus the planes with the tricycle landing gear on it. It also is different. The difference is the takeoff and landings, depending on the weight of the plane, etc. But anyway. I like to fly different types of planes. So I've got tail dragger warbirds, I've got jets, I've got 3D planes, I've got foam planes, I've got balsa planes, and that's what this is. This is an ARF, and as far as assembling this type of plane, you have to install all the electronics. You have to install the motor, the ESC, the servos, everything. This does work on a pull-pull system on the rudder, which I'll show. And so you have to do all that stuff, and it's not like you can take it out of the box, put it together, put a few screws in, go out, bind it, and fly it. It just takes a little more time. This is a plane that was given me by my wife for my early birthday gift. Something I wanted to do is put another ARF together, so thank you for that. So again, the Turbo Raven, the wingspan on it is 63 inches, length is 53.5 inches, weight on it is 8.8 pounds. I don't know if that's flying weight, it just said weight. Calls for a 110/2000 watt motor and an 85 amp ESC. It also calls for 8S to 9S, but now on the review, one of the reviews I saw on it, the guy put in which I did get or have coming, is from Innovative Designs, the badass 4530 550 kV brushless motor. And I'll be pairing that with a 120 amp ESC and a 1410 APC prop. I will look into going, if everything goes good with the maiden once I have it all done, is to go with probably a 14.8 Zor wooden prop. I don't think the APC prop's going to flex much under 6S power. So I may just leave that on there. It features high quality balsa plywood, as well as carbon fiber in there, airfoil shaped tail surfaces, large canopy hatch, fiberglass control horns, factory painted cowl and wheel pants, detailed cockpit with scale pilot, and carbon fiber landing gear. So yeah, I am happy to and excited actually to put another one of these together. It's been a lot of years. Now, RC Battery, great people, great product, has been supporting me for the last 2 years. So I've got a different batteries that I will be testing. It's going to depend on weight and CG, whether I use them or not, but I'm more thinking that the Laperior 6S 3300 probably won't CG it. I'm going to find out. To keep it light, I'll most likely be using either the Laperior Pro or the Laperior 6S 4000s here. And I may even try the Laperior 6S 5000. I'm thinking this may cause it to be a little too heavy, but we'll see. Once I get it together and I'm ready to try to CG it and everything, we'll see what works and what doesn't work, and I'll go with what works. But thank you, RC Battery, for supporting me for the last 2 years. I really appreciate that. So we're going to attempt to get in the box here. Again, my wife is still recovering from her surgery. And so it's hard for her to hold a camera for any length of time. So unfortunately, there won't be any up close and personal shots. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing the way I have the camera set up. So obviously, you're going to get an instruction manual here. They do send a sheet of decals, one with Oracle in a large and 2 smaller ones with some miscellaneous decals, peel and stick. The part of the raven face here with the eyes and the mouth and nose, which I'll have to apply. I was hoping all that would already be applied, but it isn't. Now, they didn't state on their instructions or on the website what servos to use, whether it be micro or standard, what have you. But they do have a servo in there with dimensions, measurements. Went off that, and it looks like it's going to fit a standard size servo. So I'll be, until I can get some better servos, these will do. I'll be using some high-tech HS425DB and HS322 HDs. That'll be enough to fly it and sport it around a little bit. I'm not a 3D pilot, so I'm not real concerned about doing any crazy maneuvers. Just some mild stuff. So you get 2 elevator halves here, which I think part of those decals go on your elevator halves. Now, I'll be looking at the covering on this. I have used a covering iron a lot in the past. And so I know about shrinking stuff if I need to, getting wrinkles out. When it comes to these type of planes, I do not like to see wrinkles. And so every time I see just the slightest wrinkle in one of mine, I get the iron out and I get it out, because it just, to me, it doesn't look good with wrinkles. I see some guys taking their arfs out that they put together and everything, and it's really wrinkled. It just, to me, it just don't look good. And so on each elevator half, they come pre-hinged with CA hinges. So, you know, you have to get your thin CA out and everything, and CA hinge, you know, all you have to do is really put the thin CA on the hinges and lock those down. That's the plane came well packaged. A box inside of a box, and then everything's wrapped up nicely in the plastic. It didn't look like FedEx tossed it around much. There was no dings or scrapes or cuts in the outer box, which sometimes there is, and I think those guys just throw things around. They don't really pay attention or care what's inside a box. They just want to get it out, delivered, and go home. So I know you guys have had experiences with FedEx and UPS, but my bad experiences have always been with FedEx more than UPS. This is just your other elevator half. The covering so far looks really nice. I don't see any wrinkles now. You got to expect, you know, once the air gets to all this stuff and over the next few days, it might develop some wrinkles. So I always expect to have to iron a wrinkle out here and there. It's your rudder. Now this again does operate on pull setup. And so you're going to have a control horn on the left side and one on the right. So the pull system will pull it, is what pulls the rudder when left or right. Really nice covering here. Still no wrinkles to note. Again, everything's pre-hinged except for the rudder. This has got a nice wide wing. It should fly really well. The review, actually, I only saw a couple of reviews on the website. As far as the plane goes, and the actual plane itself I got from Gator RC. Those guys seem really nice guys, so I went with Gator RC. Now looking at the bottom, I'll show you the other half, but what it's going to show is Oracle on the bottom in big like that, so that's going to really look good in the air, I think. Again, everything is pre-hinged. This is the top. This is actually a pearl blue, so that should really shine in the air in a bright sunny day. I think that will look really, really nice in the air. Got the nice points on the wingtips here. Again, it does look like, judging by the opening here, that this will be a standard size servo. I may have to trim out a little bit. No, I won't. Looks like it's going to fit perfectly. So Yeah, standard size servos. One on each elevator half, one on the rudder, and one on each wing for the ailerons. I'm seeing a little bit, if I rub on it, a wrinkle, so I'll heat that up and kind of get that out. Not bad though. I'm really loving the colors on this. The red and blue and gold looks really, really good. Got your other wing. There's a guy out at one of the fields here that has the Extreme Flight Raven. Now that's a 69-inch wingspan on his, and I'm sure there's a lot of other little differences between the two, but that's okay. If I were having to pay for something like this, even though I do have one Extreme Flight plane, I couldn't afford it, to be honest, because they're really expensive. But they are well built and they're awesome planes. Don't get me wrong. Other wing panel. Now I'll show you what it's going to look like on the bottom of the plane, if you can see, hopefully. So looking at the bottom from the sky, you're going to definitely be able to tell the top from the bottom. Plus, that's going to look really nice. I like that. I really like that they put that on there. Now, something like this may take several days to a week, depending on how quick you want to get it in the air. I like to take my time, so you know, I'm not going to rush it. I'll probably work on it some the rest of this week and then all weekend. So got your really nice fiberglass painted cowl with the turbo exhaust. Looks really nice here. Really, really nice. All right, you're going to have a wing spar for the main wings, and you're going to have a wing spar for the elevator. And that's what these are here. Your elevator spar, the short one, and then the long one for the main wings. There's some zip ties in there. I'm not sure what those are for yet, but I'm thinking they may be for zip tying your ESC down or something. I do hear that these models are built heavy, so I'm going to be prepared to have to land this under some power, depending on winds. Now, it does come with a fuel tank. If you go gas, it looks to be a pretty quality fuel tank, 300cc fuel tank. So I'll probably give that to somebody out at Maloof, where they fly gas planes, if they can use it. Got your aluminum tail wheel assembly here. It is aluminum on the tail wheel, and it's been painted. And I'm really glad to see that they did this on here. Has I don't think you probably be able to see it, but the wheel itself is aluminum as well. So there's no chance of, if you hit hard over time, breaking a plastic hub off there. So that'll last a long time. Got your nice wheel pants, nicely painted here, guys. Nice thick fiberglass. Really nice looking wheel pants here. Same as the other, same wheel pants. Quite a bit of goodies here, guys. Got a really, really nice scale hand painted pilot figure. Really nice one. Looks really good, really good. It's always nice when you have these type of planes that you get a pilot figure with it. A lot of them don't come with that. But he's dressed to match the plane. Color coordinated, guys. This is a bag with your ball links, your control horns, all that stuff, the cable for your pull system, and your main landing gear here. Something that I'm kind of wondering about because, oh shoot, I lost a screw. Something that I'm kind of wondering about because I've done so many of these ARFs is the plastic spinner that comes with it. Sometimes those things can be out of balance. So I'll be, the only way you can tell is when you get it together and run it up and check it. These plastic spinners are notorious for being out of balance. This spinner in particular does, though, instead of just 2 screws holding it on, it's held on by 4 screws. So it's a little more heavy duty, so to speak. Let's see, got some control rods here, one with the plastic sleeve on it. I'm sure one of those would be for the throttle if you go gas or something, but I'll have to look at the instructions on that. You do get the motor box for the electric conversion that I'll be using with your screws that you're going to be using to bolt this on to the firewall of the plane itself, and the screws to bolt your motor on with. This is all heavy duty stuff. Now this back plate is adjustable as far as your motor goes, so that you can get the prop adapter perfectly lined and spaced with the cowl, so it'll just in and it'll just out, and then you just use some angle stock to epoxy that so that it doesn't move around after you get it all set. I had years ago, I had a Seagull's model S-Bach, which was about a 50-inch wingspan, that had the same setup on that motor mount as well. So I don't really like that, but the good thing about it is that it's adjustable so that you can get everything really nice and neat and close and looking good. This is the carbon fiber landing gear. Now, God, this is some sturdy stuff, man. Wow. There's not going to be any flexing this stuff. I've seen carbon fiber landing gear before that were a lot thinner but this is beefy. This is real beefy stuff. It looks very nice though, and it'll look very nice on this model. This is your canopy. So without the pilot being installed already, you have to install the canopy over that portion of the plane yourself, which is no big deal. I don't know if I'll use canopy glue yet or not. That's really thin stuff. I may use actually foam tack. We'll see. But it's a nice, really clear canopy. Nicely painted. And I'll show you once I get the fuselage out how that fits on there. Got the fuselage finally, last but not least. Put this screw back in here before I lose it. They say there's a large area for your battery, so I want to check that out. It's got a nice little latch here. Nice decal instrument panel here. You can see that. Again, nicely covered. I don't see any wrinkles whatsoever. Looking at the bottom. At the front, this is where your motor box for electric conversion will bolt on. It already has the blind nuts in there for that. And yes, look at the room you got in there to do all your battery and your receiver and stuff. Your rudder servo will go back here towards the back. So you have tons of room in here. Tons of room for battery. Everything looks to be assembled very nicely. Normally when I do these, I go along the critical points in here with either thin CA or epoxy, just you know, to reinforce things. I had one a different plane. It was a Cessna type plane once that was a balsa, an ARF, and this was probably one of my first ones, and I didn't know any better, but I just assumed all the joints were glued and what have you. So I went up, actually a friend of mine, Skylar, up at Hobby Pros, maidened it for me. The maiden went good. He flew it around a little bit, came down. I took it up. I flew it around. I gave it some throttle, and that motor board or motor box where the motor bolted to broke loose, and I ended up crashing it because it wasn't glued in good. So not just the foam planes, guys, but any plane you have, you need to kind of do pre-flight checks. I learned the hard way. Make sure everything's glued together. Give your retracts a little tug. Make sure there's plenty of glue on those. That your control horns are screwed in good, or if they're glued in, give them a little tug. I've had those break loose. You know, these are mass produced, so and they're only human, just like us. So we have to take a little bit of initiative and check their work out. I mean, sure, you could crash it and say, oh, it was their fault, and try to go through the process of getting them to fix it or take care of it. But if you check everything yourself prior, at least you have that added confidence that it should be good. So again, it doesn't take long to do pre-flight checks. I do pre-flight checks about every 3 or 4 flights. I'll make sure all the screws are still tight in various places on my planes, and it should be common practice. And I'm not telling you guys what to do, but it's just a suggestion. So this is my 1410 APC prop that I'll be using here. I'll balance that out and make sure it's good and balanced as well. So hopefully I'll have this done by Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. And who knows? Maybe I'll do a little bit of the build video on my channel as well. But this again, guys, Seagull model Oracle Turbo Raven. Thanks for watching.